I'm Sean Donovan,
I'm Trevor Sorek.
and welcome to The Fine Cut. Today's episode we'll be discussing the new film in theaters by, one of the greatest filmmakers of all time.
Just some guy.
Just
I
a
don't
little
know.
guy,
I-
you know what I mean?
He's a guy named Martin.
Yeah, no, Martin Scorsese, he's a little underground, but
Never heard of him.
Yeah, we'll be discussing Martin Scorsese's newest film, Killers of the Flower Moon, as well as some other stuff that we've missed, because we weren't on last week. Yeah, I was in New York over the weekend at New York Comic-Con with some friends, so we couldn't record. I mean, what we're gonna do, the Eras tour. We already did Stop Making Sense. We already did the greatest concert film of all time. So
Whoa! Don't get the Swifties on our bad side, man.
just like get them. This is how you get them on their bad side.
On their bad side. Like
Travis
we're on their
Kelce
bad side.
sucks. Taylor Swift sucks. Eras tour movie, worst movie of all time.
Sean, you're not gonna wake up tomorrow. You realize what you've done.
All the Swifties are gonna be like, "You motherfucker!" They heard it.
They probably
That's
did.
like a dog whistle to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we'll be discussing that, as well as because we weren't on last week, we did promise that we would be talking about the other two Wes Anderson shorts. And I listened to another podcast over the weekend, and they brought up something that I didn't even think of. So I want to put that to you as well.
Okay.
So, but yeah, how's it been, Trevor? We've seen each other, but of course, last week, as I said, I was in New York, so I didn't
You
really
were
get to.
gone.
I was
I was
gone.
like, man, Sean's not here. Oh,
You
geez.
showed up to my house to record.
I
and-
was violently sick for 2 days. Unrelated, but I was violently sick. That was fun.
You're all good now, right? You just go. No, yeah, I'm good.
I'm pretty sure it's been almost 2 weeks. I
Yeah.
think so.
But
Probably not still contagious.
But you survived Eras as well. You survived the Eras rush. and
It
everything.
wasn't that bad.
So
I missed those first 2 days, which is critical. So
I know a lot of people were not happy with me, and the little crew going to New York that
well,
weekend.
you were
but-
absent for that. So
But
but
yeah, I didn't know. But this kind of is a nice little segue into, of course, as always, we start the show off with a little bit of movie news, and of course, I've grabbed things that I think would be interesting, throughout the week, the past 2 weeks at least. But first thing is that speaking of Eras, the Eras Tour movie opened to $123.5 million worldwide.
That's it.
Yep. Opening weekend.
Those are rookie numbers. No.
It's the second biggest opening of a movie in October. Do you know what the first is? It's an iconic film.
Damn.
We were working. We were working at the theater together. at this time.
Avengers.
Nope.
It is Avatar.
It is semi superhero.
Nah, I got nothing.
It is second to Joker 2019. Joker had the biggest
Just-
opening.
Joker?
Joker.
What?
Yeah, Joker had the biggest opening for a film in October, and Eras Tour almost beat it.
Why do
By
I feel like Joker didn't really
$300,000.
make that much of an impact
What?
culturally?
What, Joker?
Yeah. Feels like it didn't do anything.
I think Joker had it was weird because I think a lot of people, it made a cultural impact at the time.
But I feel like it's not a lasting one.
Not a lasting one, but I also think it might have been COVID.
You think so?
That
COVID
kinda-
squelched it?
Maybe.
Was there... I don't know.
I mean, it's still
Maybe.
a joke, I'd say. It's still like a funny joke, Joker being like a film bro movie. I mean, it's still going strong. I don't know what the letterbox numbers say, but I know it has like
Film
over a
bros
couple
love
million
Joker,
watches
that's
or
for sure.
something.
It's not a bad film, don't get me wrong, but...
Oh yeah, no, it's a good movie, but yeah. So according to Letterboxd, it has 3 million people have seen Joker. It's at 2.95 million members have seen it on
Letterboxd?
on
That have
Letterboxd.
logged
So
it?
So it's got some sort of a lasting impact, but yeah, no, Eras Tour almost beat it, didn't. I'm fine with it. I could really give two shits about Eras Tour.
Whoa, you can't say that.
Sorry. But
No,
yeah.
I witnessed parts of it because why not?
What'd you
And,
think of the parts at least? I don't think I'll see it honestly.
In the big fancy
But-
theater, the sound quality was really nice, and I mean the picture too, but who cares about picture?
Oh yeah,
when
you're going there
it's a
for
concert.
You're going there for the music.
Yeah, well, yep. If only her concerts were affordable for the average person to go to, maybe they wouldn't all come to see the movie. But
How
anyway.
many people do you think saw the tour in Detroit and then saw it in
Oh well,
our
I
theater?
can guarantee you, everyone who saw that concert in person, went ahead and watched the movie. I don't know if she performed all the same things or not. Probably not. But
I did see there was like controversy that like some songs weren't performed and people are like outraged by it. They're like, no,
was she
my
supposed
favorite
to do,
song.
Was she supposed to do? Perform every single one of her songs?
Yeah, that's what she's supposed to do.
Like all 400 of them?
Yeah.
They're like cookie cutters.
It's like a 7-hour concert. All right, guys, we're gonna go to this song.
It
People
was
are
pretty
leaving.
long. It's like
It's almost 3 hours. It's
Yeah.
almost 3 hours.
It's
But
pretty good.
not as long as the movie that we're gonna be talking about today
Yeah.
at
Marty-
3.5
Marty
hours.
doesn't believe in editing down.
I mean, I'm fine. He deserves it, but yeah. Another thing that was announced, a movie that I think I had on my anticipated list, Boy and the Heron, the new Hayao Miyazaki Studio Ghibli film that premiered over at TIFF. It got its American cast announced.
Mm-hmm.
This cast,
Chris Pratt.
no, Chris Pratt, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Charlie Day are the boy, the heron, and the girl. It's got a great cast.
Tom Hanks.
No.
Oh, okay.
So the cast that is going to be the American English cast. So the one that's playing the main character is a unknown. His name is Luca Padovan. So I don't know.
Cool.
He doesn't have a Wikipedia page.
Wow.
But everyone else in the cast does. So the cast is Robert Pattinson as the Gray Heron,
Whoa.
Karen Fukuhara from The Boys
Whoa.
as Lady Hime. Nasuko is Gemma Chan, who we
Whoa.
just saw in The Creator.
Yeah, her wonderfully
Her
underwhelming
5
character.
what 7 minutes of screen time maybe.
Yeah.
Sochi Maki is being played by Christian Bale. Granduncle is Mark
Wow.
Hamill, which I'm really excited that Mark Hamill's in this, honestly.
Nice.
He's a great voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
Kiriko, sorry. Kiriko.
Close enough. I'm
Florence
sure.
Pugh. She's
Florence
gonna be in
Pugh.
it. Noble Pelican.
She's hot right now.
I mean, she's always been hot.
No, I mean
But
like
definitely
in terms of
of
things that she's been in. Jeez.
yeah.
Come on.
She's been at 2023. She's had 2 good movies in 2023. She was also in A Good Person earlier this
Why
year.
didn't they? She wasn't in Barbie. Why not?
She would have been good in Barbie, I think. Well, she was in Oppenheimer. You can't have crossover. Imagine going from Barbie and she's like, "Hey, Barbie," to the scene in the interrogation when he's just
Wow.
when Emily Blunt's character, and you're like,
Yeah. Well.
huh? But Noble Pelican, the character of Noble Pelican, will be played by the boy Willem Dafoe.
No way.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe.
Willem coming back. I think this is his.
I love
second
that Willem
from this year?
Dafoe is Willem and not William.
Yeah.
That's a great variant
It's
on the
it's
name right
notable.
there.
It's notable though.
for sure.
So, yeah, his fucking 2023, crazy.
Willem Dafoe's been killing it for a while now, and we need to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Well, this year I watched that one movie where he's stuck in the apartment.
Yeah, Inside, not
Yeah,
the Bo Burnham
I-
special, but the actual movie.
It seemed like it was good. I wasn't fully paying attention to it, so I have to rewatch it. But
Yeah.
it seemed like it was interesting to me. But
It from what I've seen of it, it definitely looked interesting. But I mean, his 2023, I don't think it would compare to his 2021. 2021, he's got a fantastic 2021, but this definitely rivals it. In 2023, he's been in the Inside, as we just mentioned, Asteroid City.
mm-hmm.
He's going to be in Poor Things, which is kind of touted as an Oscar, a Best Picture race contender.
It's a contender.
A movie that is directed by Patricia Arquette that was premiered at TIFF called Gonzo Girl. I don't know.
Is that like a play on Gone Girl?
Maybe. It says here that it's based on a 2015 novel, but I don't want to look up the novel's plot because it doesn't have it on the Wikipedia page. So, he's going to be also in The Boy and the Heron and a movie called Pet Shop Days, with Peter Skarsgård that premiered at the 80th.
Boy, one of those Skarsgård boys.
It premiered at the Venice Film Festival. So he's got a great 2023, honestly, and Boy and the Heron to round it out. I think it's going to be great. And then he's going to be coming just hot into 2024 with Beetlejuice 2.
Oh, snap.
So, but to round out the cast of the Boy and the Heron, the Parakeet King, the character of that, will be played by Dave Bautista. So that's all they announced.
How much I am a fan of Dave Bautista. I think he's a great actor.
I think he's one of the.
He's fantastic.
Okay, rank.
He's the best.
The Rock?
He's the best wrestler.
That's what I was
going
gonna
to
say. Hold on.
Actor of all time.
The Rock, John Cena, Dave Bautista. Rank them. How good they are as actors.
Okay, so it's Dave Bautista, and then a huge chasm. I'm talking
Really?
like huge chasm.
Really?
Yes, I'm dead serious.
Okay.
And then Dwayne Johnson and John Cena are tied. they're both
okay.
I'll give the
think-
slight edge to John Cena
I was
because he
gonna
can
say.
actually play a character that's not just himself.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dwayne.
Dwayne
is just
plays
the
a lot
Rock
of,
in everything.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Dave Bautista. I mean, Cena's got Peacemaker, which I think he's gonna hold on to that role for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't really have that much else. He's like a comedy star too. He's been in a lot of comedies, but
He can be funny. I
yeah,
guess. I
he's
don't
gonna
know.
be in that new Argyle that we saw the trailer for.
That
What do you-
movie looks like it's gonna be a Red Notice type of movie.
It's by Matthew Vaughn, who Matthew Vaughn has kind of a decent hitting, like a decent average for me.
That movie has a lot of intriguing names in it, but
Yeah.
like I don't know, man.
Just call you out right now about the Dua Lipa thing.
Well, we don't know if Dua Lipa is really a great actress yet because she hasn't had any big roles.
Yeah. But I mean, Matthew Vaughn is directing it, and this is his last 5 directing credits. The Kingsman from 2021, Kingsman: The Golden Circle from 2017, Kingsman: Secret Service from 2014.
They made 4 of them already?
They've made only 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you said it. Oh. You said it like
it's-
3 times.
It's 3. First Kingsman, the second Kingsman, and the Kingsman, which was like the prequel that came out like 2 years ago.
I said like 4. It's like 3. So
Yeah,
we're
close
pretty-
enough. But he also directed X-Men: First Class.
I'm not.
I'm
I
a
haven't
fan of
seen
that.
any of the
I'm
X-Men
a fan of the X-Men movies. First Class.
I never
is up
watch
there for me.
any of them.
And then
except for
Kick-Ass.
Logan.
Kick-Ass as well. So
I've seen Logan and none of the other X-Men movies. Is that weird?
interesting, but not that weird. But yeah, I mean, he does action well, so I'm excited for it.
I haven't watched those Kingsman movies either. I don't know. They don't seem like
They're
my
good.
type of thing.
They're
but-
good. They're fun. They're like fun action movies. But I'm like, but going back to, we've divulged into the Matthew Vaughn thing. But I mean, looking at Dave Bautista's credits, Yeah, he's got Cena and
He was the best
Rock.
part of Knock at the Cabin. Like, he was
Yeah.
the only redeeming quality of that movie, if you ask me.
I mean, he's in his 2023 is Knock at the Cabin, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and The Boy and the Heron. And then he's going to have Doom Part 2 in 2024.
Yeah, I'm excited about Doom Part 2. You know that.
Um,
You know that.
I know you are.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, he was also in Blade Runner 2049. He was been in the Avengers films and the Guardians films. So I think he's got
his role was so short in Blade Runner.
Yeah, that's fine. But but speaking of, though, he was also in Knives Out, Glass Onion, which I know you're not a fan of. I'm a fan of the Knives Out movies, and they was announced this week due to the writer's strike ending, writers getting what they wanted, fair pay, all that. Rian Johnson has gone back to writing Knives Out 3, and he has the setting and premise set.
Wow.
So
let me guess. The premise is a whodunit.
What if it's not? What if it's just like an action movie?
Well, then
he just turns into James Bond light.
It'd be a quite a different type of thing.
But that's all he had mentioned about it. So I just want to throw that in there. I love Rian Johnson. He is one of my favorite directors, one of my favorite writers. So
I'm excited. I have some twisted feelings about Rian Johnson.
I love Rian Johnson. So
because me and many other people are not big fans of the whole new Star Wars trilogy.
I chalk that up to it's not his fault. So
it's not his fault. He had an entire movie to do whatever he wanted, and he
studio interference. Studio interference. Okay.
Either way.
Yeah, but that's pretty much all I really got from this past 2 weeks. There was a lot that came out, but of course we want to get the ball rolling on Killers of the Flower Moon. But before we go into that, we're gonna make good on our promise, and we're gonna do part 2 of the Wes Anderson shorts quickly.
Of course.
Very brief review of The Ratcatcher and Poison. The other two, we had done The Swan and The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. If you want to check those reviews out.
Just to recap, I liked The Swan.
Yes.
And
I think The Swan is my favorite. Henry Sugar is third, maybe.
Henry Sugar,
for me.
I felt like was a little tedious to get through, honestly, even though it was only 40 minutes.
I'd rank them The Swan first, Ratcatcher second, Henry Sugar third, Poison fourth. That's how
I'm going to agree with your rankings there.
So
that's my take as well.
Yeah, but if you want to go listen to our just us rambling about those two shorts, go check out the Dumb Money Pod that we did 2 weeks ago. We have them there. Don't listen to how we mentioned that we were going to do The Exorcist.
Yeah, so that movie got bombed in reviews. Yeah, and
we didn't have time to watch it.
My will to watch it was waning very quickly. So,
but anyways, maybe if we ever do it, I'll tell my ghost story because I remember
you promised a ghost story. I forgot about that completely. We might have to hold you to that in the Halloween pod.
I'll say it in the Halloween pod, of course.
Okay.
Wes Anderson shorts. The Ratcatcher, Poison.
Yep.
Wasn't a huge fan of the first half of the Ratcatcher, but like I said, it's my second favorite.
So I'm gonna kind of blanket statement here and say the whole Wes Anderson being uber wacky Wes Anderson style, it's wearing a little thin on me.
Yeah.
I love Wes Anderson, don't get me wrong. His style is very unique, but I think he's cultivated his style so well that like everything he does is in the same style, and I just know what to expect from a Wes.
Yeah.
Like I want to see something a little outside the box.
That's a fair criticism. I think you said that I
said that in the previous one,
but
about Henry Sugar.
But I think, to quickly do the Ratcatcher first, I'm throwing us into that one first, because I have like very little to say about Poison. Honestly, Poison's like there. Dev Patel probably the best part of Poison. Like honestly,
the whole where he's like whispering, but he's trying not to move because the snake's on him or whatever.
But it's not on him. It's
so strained. Like Benedict is like, I hate it's just tedious.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, man. Oh.
Yeah, but the thing that why I put the rat catcher at number 2 is that, oh gosh, excuse me.
It's definitely more amusing than
Yeah,
Poison.
it's so why I said I don't like the first half that much is that it's very, I think it's because I tried watching it 3 times and I kept getting interrupted. And it's just like very tedious to watch it again, but there's like you said like Wes Anderson personified and everything like that. I think the first half is just like peak. That is like the peak of where I was like, "Oh my god. Shut the fuck up, please."
Really?
Especially with how Ray Fiennes walks in and just is like, "I'm the rat catcher." It's like, okay, sure, I guess. And then I think when it gets to, so in the short, the rat catcher tries to basically kill rats, and fails. But he brings out there's a part in it when he brings out an imaginary
yeah.
Like, it's so weird, but
it's weird how they had like the claymation, the one
they
rat
had
claymation,
yeah.
but then like all the other ones where he's just like holding them.
He's
but
holding,
but
he's nothing. Yeah,
It's like because it's like a stage play, I guess. But
Yeah.
like,
But, like,
they blow all the budget on the one claymation, and then
but in, like I said, or when I said like that's peak, is like, it's like you're really asking us to use our imagination in a visual landscape, and I don't know if I liked that much, especially when
like if you're not gonna show me, like, then I'll just read the Roald Dahl book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, there's a
of
movie
thing.
there's a movie that came out in like 2003, I think, directed by the Swedish director. I think it's Swedish, or he might be Norwegian. Hold on. It's
Plus, I just think it'd be
he's
fun.
a Danish. Sorry,
It'd be fun to see a claymation ferret chasing around a claymation rat or whatever.
or he could
inside
have even done like he
a
did with
cartoony type thing.
yeah, he could have even done what he did with French Dispatch and done like a more 2D animation style with like the ferret and the rat running around. But going back to that whole like not letting us use our imagination, there is sometimes when it works. There's this movie from 2003 directed by the Danish director Lars von Trier called Dogville. And like the premise of it is that it's pretty much shot on a soundstage.
Yeah.
Like a play, and you're supposed to imagine the houses because it's just like a single thing on the floor that says like, this is whoever's house, or this is blah 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 blah's house. And it works in there.
Yeah.
From the clips I've seen, it works really well in that. This though, it's like you show me, like, especially when they bring in like the little thing. I was like, you could have gotten a rat. You could have gotten like a little like thing or a ferret or something.
Well, just to it makes me think of how like they didn't show the train going over the boy and Swan.
But even then, it had like sound effects, and it showed
sound effects. There was sound, and also there was like the little drawing thing, which was kind of funny.
Yeah,
like, on the little piece of paper, and then also it's like, well, the kid is closing his eyes because he's scared, so you wouldn't see the train anyway. That makes more sense. Like I like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's something to it. But it's called the rat catcher, like I should see some rats.
Like, and I reason why, like I said, I don't like, even though I'm criticizing it, it's still number 2 for me, especially when they bring in the stop motion rat.
Yeah,
it's like, that's cool. I actually really enjoyed
me of
that.
the rat character from
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah,
yeah, and it's like, it's just frustrating when it's like, okay, you have a single rat. Like, you could have done something else.
Who played the rat in Fantastic? Was it Adrian Brody?
I think it's Willem Dafoe. Actually.
Oh, I think it is Willem Dafoe.
I think it's Willem Dafoe. Yeah. I'll look it up, but
the rat catcher was funnier than the other shorts, I think, just because of how weird and kind of gross too. Doesn't he like eat the rat or something?
He bites the rat's
Yeah.
head or something, and
No, I'm not a fan of that.
yeah, Willem Dafoe plays the rat in
That's a
Fantastic
little
Mr. Fox, by the way.
It's a tad weird.
Yeah.
I don't
But
want to.
even then, it's like I think that little cast is probably my favorite out of all of them, which is odd because like I love Dev Patel. Love Dev Patel. Dev Patel is probably one of the most underrated actors in my opinion of like at least the past few years.
He was the good part of the Green Knight, in my opinion.
He was one of many good parts in the Green Knight for me.
No, he just the one for me.
But he
And maybe the tree guy.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah.
anyway.
But anyways, like Dev Patel's great, Ben Kingsley's great, and Benedict Cumberbatch is great. But like, the reason why I didn't like Poison that much is that they kind of went
The chemistry felt off in that one.
yeah, it kind of felt a little muddled. Where this, it's like I think it's also because two of the actors had worked with Anderson before, with Ray Fiennes and Rupert Friend.
Mm-hmm.
The only one I think that didn't work with him is Richard Ayoade, who narrates it.
Oh, okay.
But but even then he like kind of fits perfectly in there, especially since like he's a big British comedian.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that British sense of humor that I think Wes Anderson really loves. So like he fit like perfectly into it, where the other one, it was like I said, it I think it's supposed to be somewhat funny as well, and it just doesn't work in
I think
Poison.
I think the other problem with Ratcatcher and Poison, those two in particular, is like, were either of these Roald Dahl stories really worthy of being adapted on screen? Because at least with the Swan and Henry Sugar, it's like, yeah, I can see that they have like a point.
I think the Ratcatcher, if you had me basically sit them down and say you have to cut one of these, I would cut Poison. Yeah.
But I'm just thinking like, because like the Swan I felt was the most effective for like me getting something out of it.
Yeah.
I felt like Henry Sugar was like, okay, I kind of get the point, but like I didn't connect with it that much.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you should probably do good with your
money, yeah,
or whatever.
But I mean, we even talked about in that one. We even talked about in the last episode. We were like, that could have been easily two separate short films, but it was like just one big one.
Yeah.
So,
but it's just like with Poison and the Ratcatcher, I don't really know what the point was. Was it like I'm trying to even remember. Is like the Ratcatcher trying to say like,
I think they're just fun short stories. I mean, off mic we talked about short stories. What makes a short story?
I mean, sure, sometimes a story doesn't have to have a point.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I don't know, they should.
They should, yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I don't
every
know.
story should have a point, I feel, but I think like it's at the same time,
if you make a story like where the point is that there is no point, kind of like
that's so dumb, in my opinion.
No, but sometimes it works because like I'm thinking of that Bill Murray movie, Broken Flowers.
Oh yeah,
there's kind of not a resolution in that movie, but that works.
A lot of Jim Jarmusch movies are like that.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, but like doing that in a short film,
yeah,
you can get away with it because you're not investing as much time in it,
mm-hmm.
so you don't feel cheated as much when there isn't like a point. But like,
yeah, but I mean,
maybe
at
I
the
should
same time, it's
rewatch
like,
it, but I don't know if I want to.
Well, I mean, these I think will
very neutral, really.
Yeah, I think when I do another like Wes Anderson watch through, I might watch them again. I think they're definitely like good. I think Wes Anderson really can't do a quote unquote bad movie. Even his quote worst movie is my favorite of all of his movies.
I would personally like to see him go back toward what he did with like the Darjeeling Limited.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite of his. Obviously, I think I had it like top 3.
Yeah, I think you did,
or whatever.
Yeah.
I like that one because he has his style, but it's not like everything's a stage play.
Yeah,
he's gotten so centered in on like you're watching a stage play and it's getting annoying. With like the reading of the narration and stuff,
he's become a personification of what people expect
from Wes Anderson,
and it's like, okay, fine, but
short films is a great opportunity to do something different.
Yeah,
he didn't really.
But at the same time, he did.
He did and he didn't. It's weird.
Yeah, but
And maybe I just don't like Roald Dahl stories. That might be part of the problem.
Fair.
He's an interesting writer. He's a little dry.
Yeah.
He's got that British like dry.
And I think that's why Richard Ayoade works really well, is because it's the dry humor of it all. But yeah. And the reason why I said this, of course,
I sound like a huge hater, but I love Wes Anderson.
I know you do. But the reason why I wanted to do this, of course, because we mentioned it. I think we could finish part 2. Of course, it's going to be very brief. We're going to definitely be the majority of this is going to be focused on Killers of the Flower Moon. But the reason why I brought up the Wes Anderson shorts is because I was on my way home from New York.
Yeah. You had some time to kill in the car.
I had some time. Yeah, we had like a 9-hour car ride. So I was like, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to catch up on a podcast I listen to. Definitely an influence of this pod that I love very dearly, called The Big Picture. It's on Spotify. Go watch it or go listen to it. I think they have great takes. It's hosted by
I've crafted my entire personality off of their takes.
No. No. It's hosted by 2 great hosts. Names are Sean Fennessy and Amanda Dobbins. They're great. Love them. Love listening to their stuff. But I was listening to them when they talked about the Wes Anderson short. And I didn't even think about it, but they mentioned, do you think this might get nominated for Best Original Short Film or Best Short Film?
Well, yeah.
At
What's the competition in the short film category? Well, probably not great. Let's be honest. You submit your own.
I mean,
up and coming film director.
But even then, it's like we have Pedro Almodovar's newest short film with Ethan Hawke and Pedro Pascal.
Did you say Ethan Hawke and Pedro Pascal?
Yes.
Which I might have to watch that.
You can watch it on Mubi or in theaters, I'm pretty sure.
Honestly, what's Mubi?
Mubi's a streaming service. You can only watch it if you have
That was a joke.
Hey, a little thing. You can only watch
There's Mubi, Tubi, Nuvi.
No.
There's so many things.
Just a quick little thing. By the way, if you want to watch it on Mubi, you have to have a VPN. Set it to Brazil, and you can watch it online.
Wait.
Because it's Mubi.
Illegal?
Mubi has the streaming rights around the country, and Sony Pictures Classic has the rights in the United States, so it won't be going to Mubi. So if you want to watch it, kind of like how I watched After Sun again.
Are you getting political?
No. Kind of like how I watched After Sun again, before A24 put it out in theaters near us. Mubi picks them up and then they put them out for the international features or international. And I use my VPN to watch them. But I'm gonna try to watch that here soon. I'll let you know. Maybe next episode I might be like, you know what, that was a good movie. You should check it out. But I think like that's definitely gonna get nominated for Best Original or Best Short Film. And this, I think, might be a shoo-in, but at the same time, do you think we could see something like The Swan get nominated as well?
Well, I think if you're going to nominate any of them, I like The Swan the best, so yeah, I'd say that one.
But of course, Henry Sugar is probably going to get nominated because that's the kind of the main.
It's got Benedict.
Well, it's the main. It's
Cucumber Patch. Whatever his name is.
Well, I mean, that was the one that they premiered at Venice. That's
that one probably got the most
Venice.
eyeballs
Venice,
on it. The most influential.
Yeah.
Big time ballers up in.
I mean,
Venice.
it's the longest one. It's got most of the cast in it. It's going to be the one that's probably pushed. So.
Yeah.
But yeah. What do you over under or not over under? Yes or no? Do you think it's going to be nominated?
I think yes.
I think it's going to
because like short films usually are like that's the category no one cares about. Let's be honest.
I hate to
Let's
say,
be
but yeah,
real.
kind of.
Let's be real.
Kind
here
of, yeah.
For a second,
but
because like every year they're like, here are the 5 nominees, and you're like nothing. I haven't seen any.
Yeah,
of them.
it's like a Netflix short film or
most of the time it's stuff where it's like they're not even easy to find.
Yeah.
And it's like, where am I supposed to watch these? At least with
Watch
so,
it on Mubi with your
actually-
VPN.
Actually, now that I think about that aspect of it, it's probably gonna get nominated because like everyone's seen it because it's
Yeah.
Wes Anderson. It was on Netflix.
Will it win? Do you think it has the opportunity to win? Because I don't think
I
Wes
don't know.
Anderson has an Oscar. So
If he's it'd be lame if that's what he wins the Oscar for. Because I feel like he's done better work than that.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't think he's gonna get anything for Asteroid City. So
Yeah.
you know,
Well, he should definitely win like all the costume and art
norm. I think
kind of
think
categories.
So I'm looking at his like the awards or whatever. So I guess his work has been nominated for 7
times.
7
and didn't
Oscars. Never won.
Win? Dang.
It was
0
nominated.
for 7, just like I was gonna make a topical sports joke, but I can't think of anyone who's 0-7 right now.
The Jaguars.
No, they're good this year.
Are they? I thought
Yeah.
it was. Oh no, it's the Panthers.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
Panthers are 0-7.
just like the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, not
F you
the
guys.
Jaguars. Yeah, he was nominated for Best Original Screenplay 3 times. First one was for Royal Tenenbaums, second was for Moonrise Kingdom, and third was for Grand Budapest. And then he was nominated for Best Picture and Director for Grand Budapest, and then he was nominated for Best Animated Feature twice with Fantastic Mr. Fox and Isle of Dogs.
So he never won. But you know what I have to say to that? If you ain't first, you're last, Ricky Bobby.
Damn.
That's
Wes
all I
Anderson's listening to this. He's like, no, the wise
It's a
words of-"
popularity contest. It
Yeah.
always has been, but whatever.
Yeah, but yeah. Speaking of popularity contests and Oscars, Killers of the Flower Moon. Of course,
Killers.
40 minutes into this episode, we're getting to our main subject.
You're
But
talking Oscar talk. It's definitely gonna get nominated for best.
I'm
Picture.
gonna hold off on Oscars for the end because I want to give you an over under estimate because I was talking to a friend of ours yesterday and I said I said my over under and he was like, I can see that, and I'm like, cool.
He was like, "You're spot on. You need to repeat that." On
He
your
was
podcast."
pretty he liked my association and everything. So
Okay.
but of course, Killers of the Flower Moon. This is Martin Scorsese's one. Oh my God, how many films has he done? He's done a lot.
At least 2.
At least 10.
I don't know.
I mean, this is his, I want to say 26th feature.
Yeah, you know.
So like
that boy Tarantino, he needs to pick up the pace. He wants to be Scorsese.
I mean, he only wants to do.
I know, what a loser take. I only want to do 10. Be more like Marty, okay?
Yeah, have one come out literally like
Do one
every other year.
every 3 years.
This is of course his
Do
first.
a 4-hour epic once every 3 years, like Marty.
Man, Tarantino 4-hour epic. That'd be insane.
That'd be way too much fake blood.
Yes. So Scorsese has directed. This is his 26th feature film. This is his first.
List them
film.
all. Rapid fire. Go.
Okay.
Red light challenge.
Can you list all the Scorsese movies?
You did Raging Bull, right?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Do you want me to list them all off?
If you have the list right in front of you.
I do.
Okay.
Do you want to time me?
Do it fast.
Okay. Well, pull up 30 seconds on the clock. Hey,
All right.
Jamie, pull up 30 seconds on the clock.
We are not that podcast.
You really are distancing yourself from.
We should for legal reasons.
Fair. All right, you got 30 seconds on the clock?
Okay. Stopwatch. Go.
All right. Who's that knocking at my door? Boxcar Bertha, Mean Streets. Alice doesn't
Rough
live here
start.
anymore. Or doesn't live here anymore. Taxi Driver, New York, Raging Bull, The King of Comedy, After Hours, The Color of Money, Last Temptation of Christ, Goodfellas, Cape Fear, The Age of Innocence, Casino, Kundun, Bringing Out the Dead, Gangs of New York, The Aviator, The Departed, Shutter Island, Hugo, The Wolf of Wall Street, Silence, The Irishman, and Killers of the Flower Moon.
20.8 seconds.
Let's go.
You killed that.
Let's go. I had a little bit of a rocky start there, but
I didn't realize he did The Aviator and Shutter Island though.
yes.
So he's worked with Leo
He's
quite
done
a lot.
I think this is his 6th with Leo.
All right.
Because he's done Gangs of New York, The Aviator, The Departed, Shutter Island, The Wolf of Wall Street,
The Departed.
The Departed, and Killers of the Flower Moon. So it's his 6th and it's his 10th with Robert De Niro.
Now,
So
am I allowed to levy a criticism against
no,
our Lord and Savior Marty Scorsese?
No.
Am I allowed?
What
hit
am
me,
I?
Hit
am
me
I,
with it.
Am I like am I like a priest in his
No,
like
that's-
religion or
You're
something?
supposed to be like, hit me with the criticism.
Okay, yeah, go on ahead. I thought you were asking for
Now,
like my permission to like give
him
criticism.
Doing real crime type movies. Killers of the Flower Moon, obviously. I don't know if The Departed is based on real events.
It's very.
It's
not-
similar enough. It's similar enough to real events.
So, The Departed is what I thought this movie was. I honestly did. I'm gonna say this out loud
Anyway,
to the spot first. I didn't know this was a true story. I thought this was. I thought this was one of those like.
they changed the names.
It
and
was
stuff.
based on true events.
No, they used the real names.
And they used the real names, and I was like, "What? The
Good
fuck?
on Marty for using the real
Oh, yeah.
names. By the way,
I mean, it made it
put some
better
shame
for
on
me.
these guys' names, right?
Oh yeah, it made it better for me honestly when I found that out.
Anyway, my point is with him doing like The Irishman and like
Mhm.
real crime type movies.
Oh, I forgot The Irishman is also based on a true
Is-
story.
A lot of his movies start to feel kind of samey, but that's only because
He's got a style.
Real
He's got a
cri-
taste.
Well, okay, I'm not even talking about style. I'm just talking about in terms of story. And that the reason for that is like all these crimes where it's like they get too big and then they think they can't fail, and then inevitably someone is taken in by the cops and they got to confess to everything. It's like,
oh, I definitely saw shades of Goodfellas in this.
yeah, it's like it's not Martin's fault. It's just what happens in real life.
Oh, there's
it goes to
shades of the Wolf of
show
Wall Street, and there's shades
goes
of,
to show that crime doesn't
Goodfellas.
pay, because the same thing happens. He's a master class.
Does it not pay, or is it just the people that get caught it doesn't pay for? How many crimes do you think like go unnoticed?
Okay, well, that's more of a philosophical thing, but I'm just saying, like, story wise, a lot of these stories end up going the same way, and I mean, in this case, he's just telling what happened.
Yeah,
so I don't have a problem with that. But a lot of his movies do feel kind of samey.
Yeah, I mean, I think
just because like history repeats itself, and these things happen.
Looking at a lot of his movies, is that like even I think Alice Doesn't Live Here
so
is like based on a semi-true story,
well,
if I recall.
I mean, with Killers of the Flower Moon, I was a little surprised how similar it is to basically The Irishman. If you think about it, it's very similar.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like these different stories at different places and times, different settings, different people, and the same shit happens.
Yeah.
Like literally the same thing.
A little different.
Sprinkling different kinds of racism, but same thing.
Well, going back quickly to like you said that they start to feel samey, but they're all like true stories. I think looking at his filmography, he really, really loves to tell like true stories. I mean, Raging Bull, it's a biographical sports movie about Jake LaMotta. Last Temptation of Christ, Jesus, which he's I think his next
allegedly a true story.
It's not a. Wait, Jesus wasn't real. You want to
allegedly.
take our? Oh, okay. Okay.
Just because it's in a book, that's not exactly.
Not going to step on that one.
It's not exactly film camera footage.
The Last Temptation's really good. I actually really enjoy it, but I mean, Raging Bull, Goodfellas, Kundun, Gangs of New York, The Aviator. Those are The Wolf of Wall Street, Silence, The Irishman, and Killers of the Flower Moon are all kind of based on true events. And I think he's very drawn to it. So
I like telling real events. I like shedding light on things that don't get talked about.
Yeah.
Which Martin does a lot.
And I think this one was probably his most important.
Oh, for sure.
Out of all of them,
I don't think there's any discussion about that.
Yeah. Like The Irishman, cool. I really like the whole Jimmy Hoffa story. Really interesting. But I think this one was the most important one, and I think it's having, I think, to go into the movie a little bit, and this is not really a spoiler. It's just in the movie, but the movie does make reference to the Tulsa Black Wall Street massacre.
Which is the whole thing that Juneteenth is based around.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No, Juneteenth is
well, I'm wrong.
Juneteenth is
Look at
the
me being
freedom
unknowledgeable.
It's the freedom of slaves.
Well, I remember. Well, I think that's why they made it I don't know. Never mind. I'm wrong.
well, the reason why,
that's when that was the first time I heard about that.
What, the Tulsa race,
happening.
the Tulsa race riots or race massacre?
A couple years ago, around that time, is the first time I even heard about that.
And the reason why, or I should say, the reason why I bring this up is that I think this movie. The reason why I say it's his most, like, this is the one. If we had to pick one, that's like he should have told this story solely for cultural purposes. I think this
Say it
one.
With me, Shutter Island. No.
Gains
Mental
of New
health
York.
is important. No.
Because I mean, like Wolf of Wall Street, Goodfellas, it's just bad people doing bad things.
Yes.
Where this is like, and the reason why I bring up the Tulsa Race Massacre, with it is I think it's definitely showing parallels.
Robert De Niro was watching the old timey Fox News footage. He was like, "I'm taking notes." He got his notebook out. He's like, "Oh, all right, that's how they marginalized them. Okay,
yeah,
I'm gonna follow that playbook." He's writing it down. He's
but like the Tulsa Race Massacre, I think it almost has this like better late than never kind of feeling to talking about these events.
The other thing is, like, those events that happened, a lot of people went out of their way to just kind of erase them.
Yeah, and well, that's what happened with the Tulsa Race Massacre.
Yeah,
is because it was a lot of people didn't know about it until, oddly enough, back in 2019.
They started talking about it around Juneteenth. That's how I figured out about it. I didn't learn it from school.
Yeah, exactly. You don't learn this from and that's definitely a criticism on our American education system. But
there's a lot of politics influencing the American education system.
Definitely.
A lot of people don't want certain things.
But a lot of people didn't know about this about this massacre until 2019.
I see, like,
because that's when I first heard
the
about
particular events of the Osage murders.
Yeah.
I didn't know about them.
So, but like, and I think that's, like I said about the comparison between the two. I think it's like a nice, not a homage, but it's very like, yeah, I can see why Marty put in those that scene, especially since because people didn't find out about the Tulsa Race Massacre until 2019.
Those things were also happening contemporaneously. Like, they were happening around the same time.
Exactly. But a lot of people didn't find out because of the TV show Watchmen. Their first episode of Watchmen is with that, and that's where I learned about it. I'm like,
Watchmen?
Yes.
Wow.
The HBO show Watchmen, and that's where a lot of people found out about it. And it's like, I think like this. I hope
that is definitely an indictment of the American.
Exactly. Because I didn't know about it. I didn't know about it until I watched Watchmen, and I was like, wait, hold on, did this actually happen? What the fuck? Okay, and it's like and then I had a college history class, and we wrote a paper about it. So
yeah,
like it's starting. I mean, that's definitely in public knowledge now, and I think hopefully Killers of the Flower Moon.
I would like to know if they teach this kind of stuff in Oklahoma, where place where these things happen.
Definitely don't.
They probably don't.
And I like, that's what I was saying. Is like, I hope a lot of people see Killers of the Flower Moon. I hope it goes really well, because it is one of those things where this story needs to be heard.
Not to get political, but it's inevitable.
Yeah.
Like like Florida, like restricting like what kind of books and what kind of stuff's in their curriculum.
Yeah.
To a great extent, and you're like, no, man, that's not right. You need to You can't censor stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah. But
There's no good coming from censoring stuff like that, unless
There
you
really-
want history to repeat itself,
yeah. And I mean,
which Martin Scorsese has demonstrated through his movies. Yeah, same shit, different people. It keeps happening.
exactly.
You know, different flavors of racism.
Yeah. I mean, well, there's a scene. We both looked. Speaking of the racism, there's a scene in it where we both turn to each other when there's a scene where Leo is walking through a parade.
Yeah.
Getting a little bit of a spoiler. If you haven't seen it, I think this is where we'll start kind of getting into more spoilers and stuff. Actually, hold on. Let's wait off on the spoilers because I think we should talk about
the parade scene.
If you want to, we're gonna spoil it quickly right now. If you want to, just skip maybe 2 minutes ahead.
Sure.
But
there's a scene where there's a parade going through town, and yep, there's some hooded individuals.
Yeah.
And no big deal. But like you think about it, at that time, that would just be that'd just be something you'd see.
The KKK. That's who we're making reference to.
Yeah, like
they would just
walking through the center of town, like
yeah.
Woo, no big deal. And then they're like, "Hey, Ernest," and Leo is like, "Hi guys, like how's it going?
How's the racism today?" It's like
I don't know if how's the race. Yeah, like I don't know if he went as far to shake his hand on screen, but it was like, "Hey, how's it going?"
But even then, like the Grand
nice
Master,
day for a parade. Am I right?
It's not the Grand Master. What's the KKK's like head? It's Grand Wizard.
I don't know.
I think it's Grand Wizard.
First of all, they call themselves wizards. How stupid, you nerds.
Yeah, that's the one thing about them that we hate.
I mean.
No, the KKK. It's just they. I mean,
they can just walk freely down town.
That's insane to me, especially
that's the type of stuff that happened.
That's the shit that happened then. It's like, and you even think about it, it's like, the rise of the KKK happened with the Birth of a Nation movie, in the 20s around the same time, and it's like, seeing that, it's like, that's very very like. It's definitely like one of those things where it's like it's definitely a powerful punch.
Yeah,
to, like,
it's a little
see that
shock, but
it's
like it shouldn't be.
But it's like that's what happened, and it's so insane. And it's like because you could, and I mean we see that now. I mean back in what was it 2017 when the whole like Tiki Torch march. It's like
brilliant move, guys.
Yeah.
Way to.
But like it's like that, and it's like. It's odd as a culture that we know more about the KKK than we do about the Osage tribe and what happened to them.
Yeah,
I think that is the biggest thing that is an indictment on our education system.
Another reason why Killers of the Flower Moon is so important is because what was done to them is not just evil. It's like beyond evil.
Yeah.
The whole well, I don't know. Do you want to just go into the plot or whatever, or what?
Yeah, we can go into the plot. So
it's
let's do. We should have kept the spoiler thing. If you skipped ahead,
we talked about the historical context, which is fine.
Right now, set in stone. This is when we're going to be talking about spoilers.
Like 1920s America. Yeah, I mean. What was done to them was particularly evil because their whole deal was like, well, the Osage got rich from oil being on
their land. It's like
it's not even like they're from like somewhere else originally. They were forced to move to like Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, and then they finally are forced to move to the Indian Territory. That's what Oklahoma was known as at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And where they settled, there's oil under the ground. So they become rich from the oil. But, they weren't cool with that. They weren't like, oh, damn, we gave them the best parcel of land.
Yeah.
That's our bad. Let's take it away from them. That's what they're thinking. And that's where Robert De Niro's character comes in. He's a kingpin, and his only goal is to, like, strip him all of the head rights away from him.
Yeah.
But he does it in such a nefarious way.
He does it honestly,
intermarry into their family, slowly poison them.
Yeah, that like the whole
put me in the will.
the story. So of course, like I said, this movie is 3.5 hours long. It sits at a lengthy, weighty 206 minutes.
Yeah.
So we can't really go a lot into the story. But I think what we've talked about is pretty much the basis of it. There's one more thing that I want to talk about with the pacing, as well, but I want to hold off on that until we get, because you brought up De Niro.
There's multiple times in this movie where I'm like, God, F this guy.
Yeah.
Like, but that goes to show you, like, Robert De Niro is doing his job well.
Exactly.
He's acting very.
Bringing up De Niro, I want to start talking about the cast.
And
at least.
It sucks because you see De Niro and Leo and you want to like them.
Yeah.
Because they're very charismatic individuals. And you've seen them in other movies.
Yeah.
And you want to like them. And Leo at first is centered as like the protagonist. And you feel like, okay, his uncle is very clearly racist. But maybe
I didn't feel that though. I'm gonna say this. I didn't feel that at least the first hour.
No, at the beginning it's kind of like subtle racism, right?
It's
like,
subtle, but it's like at the same time he likes, like, them sitting in the hut with the like that general meeting of the Osage tribe.
Like, they're cool with him being there.
Yeah,
because he's bought their trust.
Yeah.
He's very knowledgeable about them.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a very famous evil person who said, like, know your enemy, right? So
yeah, probably.
His whole deal is get to know everything about them, speak their language. Even.
Yeah.
It's build these insane levels of trust on top
keep
of
your enemy or keep your friends close, but your enemies closer kind of thing.
Can you spot all the wolves in this picture?
Yeah.
In the book. What a brilliant way to frame the entire story through that little book.
Yeah.
Can you see all the wolves in this picture?
It's
like the wolves are really obvious. Because you know.
Well, I rewatched because I thought when the teaser trailer for this was released, I remember it getting like a lot of flack.
For
or at least some
being
flack.
too on the nose.
Yeah,
something?
because there's like a.
Can you see
shot,
all the wolves in this picture? And then it cuts to the room of white people.
Yeah, it's the Leo reading the book, and then it cuts to the room where
like his lawyer and all the aristocrats. And
it's like, oh, that's way on the nose, but it's like
that's what happened.
Genuinely, the
that's
movie.
History.
That's like So, but like speaking of at least the actors, because I really want to get into the acting in this, because I think there's two really good performances in my opinion. There's one good performance, and then there's some screen time snubs for me.
I think I might know what you're talking about.
I think you know the two that I'm gonna say, but
okay.
But the two that I thought were very good was Lily Gladstone and Robert De Niro.
Unfortunately, with Lily Gladstone, sadly, I feel like her character didn't have a lot of agency because, like, she has diabetes and is bedridden most of the movie, which sucks. I know that's probably accurate to history, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, damn, I wanted her to do more, or like stand up against Ernest or do something, but she doesn't.
Even then, though, she gave a killer performance.
Killer performance, of course.
I think she's lobbying. I think it was announced that she's not going to go for supporting actress. She's going to go for actress, which I think might be a lock, honestly. It's early in the season. Of course.
How would they categorize as like supporting? Because she's definitely like the lead female role.
So there's a lot of category stuff that, from what I know about the Oscars, because like
category politics.
Yeah. Well, because like a big one in the past few years, of course, since I love the Oscars and I love doing the whole. This is like my fantasy football stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I love looking at all.
Okay, then I know you're serious about it because that's how I feel.
So a lot of the stuff that kind of happens through the categories is like it's kind of if they want to go with it, because there was a lot of people that were like Belfast a few years ago. They said that they were gonna basically lobby the two actors who played the parents they were going to lobby them to be supporting actors, and they were going to lobby Jude Hill, who was the little boy,
they're trying to
as actor.
They're trying to maneuver them in a way where they have a better chance of winning. Right?
Yes, but at the same time, it's like sometimes they kind of do the mix and mash, and they're like, "Oh, we do this, blah blah blah."
Yeah.
But because like last year, even with another master filmmaker, Steven Spielberg, and The Fabelmans, a lot of people were like, "Oh, Michelle Williams. Michelle Williams is gonna get nominated for Best Supporting Actor because there's really not a main lead actress or Best Supporting Actress, I should say. Or there's not really a main lead actress because the Gabriel LaBelle, who played young Steven Spielberg, was going to be going for the lead stuff. But then it comes out and they're like, nope, we're going to basically move her to Best Actress. So it's odd, and I think honestly Lily Gladstone, though, being Best Actress makes a lot of sense.
Well, I saw one review that said she, in a room with two very talented actors like Leo and Robert De Niro and stuff, she's like, in some ways she's out acting them, and I have to agree because she conveys so much like non-verbally. She's the best non-verbal actor in this movie. Because I feel like maybe there's some times where she, like, I thought she would say more verbally,
but she
doesn't need to.
It's in the face. It's so like, even when like there's a scene. It's the table when she basically invites Leo into the house for the first time.
Yeah,
and he asks her, "What?" He's like, "What color is that? What color is your skin?" And she very could easily just go, like, very nonchalantly go, "My color," because that's what she says in the movie. But she kind of like smirks, as like, "My color." It's like an unexperienced actor would have just been, "My color," where it's like it's very nonchalant. It's very like she knows that she's almost playing.
I know what you're saying,
and it's the expression on the face, and it's like, and that's what I think. And I'm like, she is amazing in this, and I think that's the same and same kind of thing is the ending, where her and Leo's character sit in the room.
She gives him one last chance to divulge his last untruth, that the truth he didn't say, and no, he lies. He doubles down,
and she's like,
lies.
"Well, nope," and gets up and leaves. And it's like
she doesn't emote a lot in that scene. She doesn't, but it's
but that's perfect though, because like if she started crying, that is like too on the nose for me.
What a cold badass moment.
Yeah,
to just be like, no emotion, just like get up and leave. Like,
it's like, and that's what's perfect about it though, is I'm like, that's amazing.
Yes,
so good. And I think another actor in this that reminded me of that, kind of the same in the face, kind of in the movements and everything. And the other one that I said was great is Robert De Niro.
Yes,
I think Robert De Niro is fantastic in this. I mean, he's a fantastic actor. I don't really love Leo's performance in this.
Really?
I'm not a huge fan of it.
Was it the accent?
It's not the accent. I think he almost is like,
I think Leo does a great job because his character was a tough ask, because he's introduced and he very early on, I think he's demonstrated to be kind of like you can manipulate him very easily type of thing.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't seem, he's not the sharpest tool in the shed either. But then
the scene when he's gambling, he's like, "I love money," and throws the things on the table and then loses. It's so,
well, he kind of had to go through the eye of the needle and play like a character who's like, he has to play that character in a way where it's like, it's believable that he could be manipulated by his uncle. And also, it's like, from a movie standpoint, he's playing a character where it's like, it's not clear, like, okay, is he gonna like anyone who didn't know the real life events already
Yeah.
before the movie, which is probably a lot
Majority,
of most
probably.
of the people.
There's probably a lot of people that read
You
the
know,
book, but even
yeah.
then, it's like,
But his character is like, okay, I see that he's being manipulated by his uncle. Can he overcome that? Can he redeem himself in a way, like denounce his uncle?
mhm.
But no, he doubles down on it and he goes for the movie, and he it's kind of a subtle, it's a tragedy looking at it, because it's like he his character, like, you can tell like he genuinely loves his wife, but like
Yeah.
he can't stop doing bad things, and he keeps doubling down, and it's kind of a subtle degradation. And then there's a certain point where you realize, like, man, this guy's just irredeemable. Like, there's nothing good about him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, and of course, I think
because like
him being,
for example, there's like, they show you the detective getting whacked early on, but then later on they show it again, and it's revealed
it's Leo.
it was Ernest whacking him, and you're like, oh damn. Well, now I don't like this guy even less.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Well,
oh, that's kind of that's a punch right there.
So you brought up, I definitely agree that it's a hard role to be in, but I think with Leo, it's very much,
because the whole time, the whole movie, I was rooting for Ernest to turn against his uncle. And he doesn't do it until the very end, but when there's nothing there anymore. You know what I mean? Like, where it doesn't that decision has no impact. It doesn't matter. Yeah. And like, that's part of the tragedy of this story, I think. The tragedy of
No, it's very much, but I think like his performance though, it feels like you said it's two different sides. I think he puts a lot more on one side at points, and then kind of goes down, and it just feels it's not a perfect balance. And then in my opinion, and it's like, you need that perfect balance for at least me.
I very much enjoyed his performance, and I think watching it a second time might be better, because there's certain points where, like, I didn't think of him being, there's certain points where you just like, this guy is, if you don't have the mindset, like, this guy is pure evil, like, he might be, like, he's playing a part, and it's like, well, there's a double meaning to what he's doing. Like, he's playing his wife, he's playing all these other people. But watching it the first time through, you don't know where that turn is, and you're like, he was irredeemable, like, from very early on.
Yeah.
Whereas, I thought, like, maybe it would, watching it first time through is like, you realize, oh, he crossed the line like way before I thought he did. You know what I mean?
Was he ever on the other side of the line though?
Yeah, that's another thing.
That's like
that's another thing, because you don't know a lot about him, other than he was a war veteran, whatever, and he was a cook in the army. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I can see him. I think like he's I think it's a good performance. Don't get me wrong. Just I needed the perfect balance of like, should I trust this man or should I not? Because there's very much times where I'm like, I trust this man fully, and then there's others where I'm like, I don't fucking trust this guy.
Well, isn't that the point though?
I think it
isn't that the point where you, like, sometimes you trust him and sometimes you don't.
It is, but there's certain
that was the other frustrating
portions
part
that don't work for me though. It's like, I think like I said, you need that perfect balance, and I think there's some scenes where I'm like, I don't trust this guy, but I feel like I should also maybe take stuff with a grain of salt, and I don't. That's just like I said, it's just my opinion. I think it's a good performance.
I think what you're describing is kind of speaking to the strength of the performance, though, because I think that's exactly what's intended. You're not supposed to know when to trust this guy, and you realize a little bit too late you were never supposed to trust him at all.
Though I look at it and I'm like, I'm not supposed to trust this guy, but I feel like there should be some sort of redeeming quality of him, and there should be there in that performance.
Yeah, but there isn't, and I feel like that's the point, though.
but I think that there should be some sort of,
Oh,
because
you
it's
think
like,
there should be?
I think there should be, because then it's like, because I think at the end of the movie when he says no, I think we as the audience should be like Molly.
It should be like an impact. Like
It should have been a harder impact. Whereas at the end of it, it's just like, oh man, why'd you do that? You fucker, you fucked up.
I will say
Where
that
it's like supposed to be like, oh my god,
I think that's the like I was gonna say before, it was a little frustrating watching Lily Gladstone's Molly Kyle character. Like at some point she has to know her husband is perpetrating a lot. And
I think she does.
I think she does too. But like even before he starts slowly poisoning her, which is messed up, obviously, and her insulin.
Yeah.
But even before that, I feel like, okay, why would you not like call this guy out on his BS or do something? You know what I mean? Like, you gotta know he's doing something. But so that was a little frustrating. But
yeah.
But I think the other thing, like you said, like him telling his uncle no to his face at the end, like, I'm gonna testify against you, that type of thing, maybe didn't have as much of an impact. I do think there's part of that is on purpose, because he's gone too far, and it's like there's nothing you can redeem. You've already done the evil. You know what I mean? You've already been the wolf the entire time, right? And
you've been
tearing
a
up
wolf
the
wearing
sheep.
the sheepskin.
Yeah,
So.
but I think that's part of the point. But man, I totally lost my train of thought. Damn it!
I mean, I like I said, this is a good performance. I really enjoyed it. It's just I need that little bit extra.
Oh, okay. About the impact thing, I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna say it. Don't get your pitchforks out. I'm gonna say it. I think this movie is a little too long.
What though? What though?
No, don't stab me with the pitchforks.
I'm gonna stab you with a knife right now.
I'm sorry, Marty. There's some
No,
stuff.
I was gonna say the pacing.
There's
the
some stuff you
pacing-
could have cut down.
The pacing definitely is not great in my opinion.
I think there's some very, very good pacing in this movie, and
Mhm.
some also not good pacing. I would say like I want to say like a half hour in or so, when he's reading from the book about the Osage people.
Yeah, that's about
and
a
then
half hour
there's a
in.
narrator. I think it's Molly Kyle. I think it's Lily Gladstone. It might not be. I could be wrong. But whoever's voice it is telling you like what the flower moon is and like what that means.
I think it's Leo.
I think
it's
it
Leo.
is
Yeah, I
Leo's
think
voice
it's
because he's
Leo,
reading
yeah.
from the book.
Yeah.
That part was like perfectly placed.
Yeah, no, there's like great pacing, and then there's some that I'm like, get on with it, please.
When you get to like the last 45 minutes of the movie and it turns into a courtroom drama, yeah, the pacing is a little.
It should have been half movie of here's all the murders, here's what happened,
maybe
and
you
then
could
another
have.
half of
Maybe you could have pulled an Oppenheimer and interspersed some of those courtroom parts earlier in the movie. I don't know if that would have worked because it was very linearly told story.
Yeah, it's a linear.
Linearly.
Just death as
Linear.
daggers staring at each other right there.
Linear.
Yeah, it's a very linear story. So I mean, it's
Well, they do go
Yeah.
back and forth sometimes, though.
they go back and forth sometimes,
They-
but it
They did that
the
a couple.
flow,
I
though.
think that's a great example of having some impact. They tell you, especially when they like the guys at the end are like admitting that they murdered some of the members of the Osage tribe, and they're like was Molly Kyle's family, her sisters and stuff. And they're like, this is how we did it. And then it flashes back to them doing it.
See, that's like that's fine. I like that.
I mean,
that's fair.
Like, and you just see how callous and brutal it all is. And you're like, damn, how can he be so evil?
Like her being drunk and her saying, "You're gonna kill me. You're gonna kill me." And they're like, "No, sweetheart, don't worry."
And then they do.
And then they do. It's like, oh man, damn. It hits.
The one guy in the one guy in the one hat did look like David Byrne to me a little bit. You know who I'm talking about?
No. Which one?
He just looked like him. The one guy who was like in on that one murder.
Which murder?
Of Anna Brown. It was Ernest's brother, and
Ernest's
the guy
brother.
in the
yeah.
like the lighter colored hat.
Yeah. That is gosh, is that?
I'm just he just looks like David Byrne to me, whoever that is.
Yeah, I'm trying to find his name.
But
Scott Shepherd is his name.
Yeah, Scott
yeah,
Shepherd.
he's Yeah, he's great in this. Going into the supporting
I-
cast, I think we could use that as a
Well,
little segue.
For I just want to say also, like, he totally just admits to the murder in court, and like, what happened to him? You get
It's
like
a plea.
slap.
It's definitely plea deal.
You got like a
that's what
slap
it-
on the wrist.
It's a plea deal. It's we're going to, if you admit to the murder and say that,
We'll give you a lighter sentence.
yeah, basically it's like if you admit to the murder and you say
Who
I
helped you,
did this
who
because
directed
this
you to
guy
it?
told me to do it, they would get a lighter sentence.
It's like, man, he was. But the sick part was like, it looks like he enjoyed it, and that it's like, damn, there's a whole nother layer to like, this whole movie is like having a knotted stomach for 3 hours and just being angry.
Yeah,
Because you're angry about the stuff that happened. It's disgusting.
Yeah, yeah. But
They
I think
blow people up.
They that. Ooh.
They blow
There's
people up.
There's a scene where both of us were like.
The whole Bill Smith character is interesting to me too. Cause
Did you know who played Bill Smith, by the way?
No, I don't know what
That's
the actor is.
singer songwriter Jason Isbell.
Is he like a country?
He's a
music guy?
country singer. I was like,
Okay.
who is that guy? And it's fucking Jason Isbell. Which
Well, I also like his character being in the movie because the Bill
Mhm.
Smith character, he's kind of the gold digger type too. He marries into the rich,
he marries
Osage.
two of the
the
sisters. Yeah.
But also he continues to investigate the murders on his own, and is like he does confront Leo later on, and is like, I forget what he says to him, like, what are you gonna do, kill me or something like he
Yeah.
confronts him, and before they blow up his house, and I'm just thinking like maybe that's who Ernest could have been if at some point he turned against his uncle,
Yeah. But I mean,
because there's multiple times to suggest that like Ernest has a heart in there somewhere, and he just is choosing not to follow it for some reason.
Yeah.
Like he's being manipulated, like he just loves that money,
I love money.
and it's like,
Yeah.
Because like at first it seems kind of like Bill's a bad guy because he's a gold digger like the rest of them, and like getting doing the same
I
sort of
still
stuff.
think he's bad though.
I
he's
get
still
that.
bad. But
he's
honestly,
less bad than
going in-
Ernest though. Less evil.
He
He didn't murder anyone.
I mean, his last scene when the house blows up and he's like, God damn it, help me out of here. And he's like,
no, he's like, kill me. He's like, shoot me.
does he say kill me?
Yeah, he's like, shoot me. I'm
I
in
thought-
so much pain.
I thought he
shoot
said
me."
help me.
No.
Oh, well, damn.
You
Okay.
misinterpreted that.
I guess. Well, I mean, how I interpret it is that he's more selfish than because
I mean,
that's how I read it. Is like he's by saying help me, he's not saying where's my wife? He's basically being very
yeah.
ego. So
Well,
that's how I looked at it.
I mean, that's probably if you got blown up, I'd be like, yeah, shoot me. Put me out of my
Okay.
misery. I don't know.
But I mean, this is a good segue to go into the supporting cast. I mean, the Osage actors, they're amazing.
You
their
can tell
names-
when some of the tribal leaders were talking, they were not acting.
they're not. A lot
They're
of
just-
them
They're telling it
So-
like it. They're speaking like
out of the Brown family, the
Mhm.
Molly's family, only 2 of them are actual actors.
Yeah.
And that's Lily Gladstone and Tantu Cardinal,
Mm-hmm.
who plays the mother. She's been in some movies as Dances with Wolves, Wendell and Wild, and Wind River. But
Mhm.
her sisters, Anna Cara Jade Myers, this is her first movie. Thought she did amazing. Janae Collins, who plays Rita.
Yeah.
First movie. And Julian Dion, who plays her sister, Minnie.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 of them, this is their first movie. So, I mean,
Good
They were
performances
great.
for
Yeah.
first timers. Come on.
I think they're great. And I even wrote down, I was like, this very much reminds me of Nomadland from a few years ago, where it's like a lot of those actors, a lot of the people in that movie were not actors, and they are amazing. in it.
Sometimes
So,
sometimes it's better to have some non-actors. In
oh yeah, very much. But going quickly also to like we haven't even mentioned Jesse Plemons. He's good in it.
Your doppelganger.
Supposedly literally me.
He looks very. I mean, come on. The
I can
likeness
see
is
it.
there.
I can see it. Yeah. But I think the 2 that I was gonna say is very underwhelming and were snub screen time. John Lithgow, Brendan Fraser as the lawyers.
Yeah, they're barely in it.
They barely in it. I think, not to say like, oh, they shouldn't be in it, but I think like that's why I said the first half of the movie should have been the murders and everything, and then the second half should be a courtroom drama. I think that would have at least helped some of the pacing issues as well, and I think that would have been a little bit better. But also I also wrote down here, a lot of musicians in this movie. I mentioned Jason Isbell as Bill Smith, but the one who
we have
played
Jack
Henry
White
Grammer. Well,
make an appearance.
before we get to that, because I want to talk about the ending quickly.
Henry Grammer.
Henry Grammer, the character of Henry Grammer, is played by Sturgill Simpson,
I
who we just saw in The Creator.
I just want to say, oh really?
Yeah, he was the one that was with the robot girlfriend.
Oh, you
So-
know what? I like him. I wanna see him
He's
in
a
more
great
stuff.
musician. He's a
He
good
would-
actor.
I just want to say he was so believable as like a 1920s cowboy mafia type guy.
Yeah, I really I liked him. I want to see more from Sturgill Simpson. Honestly, I think he's a great actor.
I think that's
So-
another thing Scorsese does extremely well in these true crime
Mm-hmm.
movies. It shows you how like some guys who are like tangentially part of the operation get totally wrapped up in like the thick of it and like, oh, go do this job on this guy, and then like you see the one guy like I think his character's name was John or something. He's like, nah, man, like, I'm done with this. I don't want to do it. And he becomes friends with the guy he's supposed to murder.
Yeah,
And then they tell him it's supposed to be a suicide. Shoot him in the front of the head.
shoots him in the back
And
of the head.
he doesn't have the guts to do that.
Yeah,
And he shoots him in the back of the head. And that unfoils a big part of their operation because, it was
yeah. I
supposed
think
to be a
this is.
suicide.
I think it's for the cast at least. Great performances all around. Those side characters
Yeah, but
makes the world feel.
Sturgill Simpson, maybe it's just his southern drawl or something, but he was
Yeah.
very believable.
No, he's very believable, and I want to see him in more stuff.
Mhm.
But of course, as I mentioned as well, musician Jack White's in here. Detroit, born and raised.
He's kind of not a character.
He's
though.
not a character in it, but he's at the ending, which I think
they-
we can go into the ending now.
The ending, they do like where are they now file type
but
thing.
it's not really that. It's a stage
It's like a 1920s
radio production
Yeah.
of them recounting the events, and Jack White plays one
William
of the
K. Hale went to jail, and then they do the cranking the chain
yeah,
thing, and then
then
slamming
slamming
the
into the
door
gate. I love
for
that.
sound
And
effects.
I think because Jack White appears in there.
Do
and
we
I
know
think-
why? Just because he knows
Just
Martin.
because. Well, I think Jack White was in. He's been in another Martin Scorsese movie technically, but it's a documentary. He was in.
Maybe he just is
He was in the Rolling
conscientious
Stones.
of like Native American rights or something. and
He was
wanted
in
to
the
be this
Rolling
movie.
Stones documentary, Shine a Light, that Scorsese did, because supposedly he only opens for the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
That's so. But I mean, good. Really funny to see him in here, honestly. But the ending, I just want to quickly go over that because when I walked out, I don't know if I liked the ending, but I think now I'm like, that's pretty good actually. I think, and especially the last person to talk
Is Martin.
is Martin Scorsese himself. So
Just to emphasize how important he thinks this picture is.
Yeah.
He is there himself, which is great.
Yeah.
Um,
and I love the actual
Man.
technically ending is I think the modern day Osage tribe doing like tribal dance.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
and it was in this movie.
I mean, everything about like even for I noticed with the trailers of this movie, they used music by Native American artists.
Oh really?
I recognized the one song that was in the trailer. I forgive me, I forget the name. But yeah.
Yeah.
It-
Even the score by the late great Robbie Robertson is really good as well. That's been on repeat for me. Yeah, the music's great, the film's great.
I just this is a really important story because I took a class about Native American culture and like history, and the teacher of that class, I forget her name. She was a wonderful woman. She was actually someone who had gone to Washington to speak in front of Congress.
Oh, really?
And, she's just my professor for that class. And
That's the weirdest thing in college when it's just like, here's like world-renowned physicist and he's teaching a bunch of dumbass kids and like at like 10 in the morning.
Right. Well, we didn't really have assignments per se.
Yeah.
It was more important to her that we just got an idea of like it was more important that she teached,
Do you think this should be like essential viewing then?
Yes.
So
if not essential viewing,
definitely should be watched.
Someone should. Okay, maybe like if you don't want to read the book or watch the movie, you should still read an article about what happened.
Yeah.
And like I don't know. I don't know how to convey how important I think it is.
It's a very important film.
Cuz like especially in today's climate, especially with what's going on in certain places in the world right now, you know, I don't know. It's my 2 cents as a white boy from Michigan. But, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that.
Yeah,
it's just really important.
To end it, it's...
I mean, just think about it. These people removed from their land. They get blessed, and now they're rich. And
then they
in a society where, like, I mean, like, before they didn't have money, you know what I mean? Like, they were just living free, and now, like, they're forced to live a different way. I mean, all the Native American people in this movie, they're wearing, like, the white man's clothes.
Yeah.
Because they're just forced. Like, they don't even talk about that in this movie, but that's just another way. Like, they were forced to assimilate into the other culture,
Yeah.
Robert De Niro's like,
man,
marry into their family.
I'm like, I know we've said it before, but man, you really should do your history pod. Like,
I wasn't joking when I said that. I mean, history is important.
I think it's important
Anyone
too.
who says history is boring,
you
don't respect them because they're dumb.
Damn.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Because like saying history is not important is like saying your current life right now is not important, which is dumb.
Yeah.
No one should think that.
We're always living history. So
true. But and maybe don't be on the evil side. Maybe
you really run into your relax and rewind.
Maybe be
kill
nice
the villain
to people.
Character. Yeah.
Especially if they're like,
yeah,
not on the top of the food chain per se.
Just be kind to people.
Yeah.
Is
that so hard? Look what Martin's trying to tell us, man. Be more like Marty.
I hope a lot of people see this, and I mean, it made $2.6 million its preview night, and it made $9.4 million its opening night. So it was predicted to make about $20 to $30 million. So it's on track. So I mean, I do hope that this leads to a lot of people
for such
seeing
a long feature. And is it rated R?
Yes.
And it's being rated R. All that jazz. It's understandable that it might not have the biggest box office boom in the world.
But people should still see it.
People should still see it.
Yeah. Now, and I hope maybe even Oscars will get people to see this.
I think...
and I wanted to put this as the final thing.
Yeah.
Over under 8 Oscars. What do you say? 8 Oscar nominations.
That sounds... nominations? It'll get nominated a butt ton.
How many do you think? Because I said over 8.
I say over 8 as well.
Okay.
I don't know how many will actually win.
Because right now it's being predicted to be nominated for Best Picture, Best Director.
Is this picture better than Oppenheimer for you?
No.
I
think Oppenheimer's a lot better, honestly. I think Oppenheimer. I feel like I like Oppenheimer a little bit more than this.
I think Oppenheimer is paced very well. For such
I think there's a lot of there's not flaws in this. It's just there's a lot of like
they're really
nitpicks where Oppenheimer just kind of
similar
works.
movies, real life events that
Oppenheimer works
turn
better,
into a courtroom drama, kind of like into the third act. One movie feels a lot longer than the other, and that is Killers.
Yeah.
But
yeah, but it also is getting, according to Variety, it's also going to be nominated. It's also predicted to be DiCaprio nominated for Best Actor, Lily Gladstone for Best Actress, and they actually have her winning. So
I can see that because
I think she might.
man, that's
but
a
at the
master
same-
class in like
but at
subtle
the same
acting.
time, Variety also has Ryan Gosling winning for Barbie in Best Supporting Actor, so maybe. But Robert De Niro is also, they say, is going to be nominated for Killers.
Man,
Hang they're
on.
actually saying
hang
this
on
is,
just for a second. Imagine you're like, you know, like you're Ryan Gosling, and you win for Barbie over someone in like Killers of the Flower Moon. Don't you feel a little
a
stupid?
little bit like, yeah.
Like,
But
Like-
also, this is actually an interesting thing. Variety has Cara Jade Myers, who played Anna Brown, being nominated for Best Supporting Actress.
okay,
So that would be a very
she's deserving
interesting,
of being nominated.
very
I think.
interesting. Well, when that, I feel like we should keep an eye on that, because that'd be a very interesting nomination, and they might try to push her in. So I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think you need to push
they
any
also-
of them to win because they should win just on their own merit because they're
Yeah.
good.
They also haven't been nominated for Best Screenplay.
Right, because it's based on a book.
Yes.
And it'll be
Best animated
competing,
feature here
it'll
for
be
some reason.
competing on the adapted thing with Oppenheimer.
Man,
'cause
you didn't
that's-
hear it. You didn't hear what
that's
I said, did you?
That was a book too. Sorry, I was connecting a thought.
I said they also have it nominated for Best Animated Feature for some reason.
What?
No, they don't.
Oh, okay.
It hasn't been.
Don't say things like that. I'll believe you for some stupid reason.
It also, they have it being nominated for production design, which I could see them
At no
maybe
point-
winning.
At no point did I feel like that wasn't the 1920s.
Cinematography, they also have it predicted. Costume design, that has to be. My computer's running a little slow for some reason, so I can't pull it up. Yeah, it's also for that. Film editing, it's being nominated according to this. Also, sound, not visual
Well,
effects.
let's-
Original score.
You want to talk about our screening for a second? Man,
Yeah.
So,
I think
there's
this should be
some
the
part-
last thought.
there's some parts of this movie that are quiet, and oh boy, you know what movie isn't quiet? Saw X. And you know what
Yeah.
was playing next door?
I wonder
Saw
what.
X.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I saw on TikTok a lot of people were like, "Don't go see if you were gonna go see Killers of the Flower Moon, go see it during the weekdays when Taylor Swift is not playing."
Oh damn!
Because a
I didn't even think
lot
about
of people were saying that they were hearing like Bad Blood playing.
Bad Blood.
It's
Oh,
like,
that's
damn.
That's
Yeah.
Bad Blood in a movie about racism.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Gonna be nominated for, because all the rest are like shorts and documentary and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think it's definitely gonna make over 8, maybe even over 10 Oscar nominations. I think this is gonna be a heavy hitter in the award season. So definitely go check
Should
it
be.
out. Should be, honestly. I think people should go see this. It's amazing. So yeah, I think we can.
If you had to make me pick, like, what I think the best movie of the year was right now,
It's
maybe it's recency bias, but I'd probably put Killers of the Flower Moon just ahead of Oppenheimer.
damn. Okay.
But it's close,
Yeah, that's fair. But
and I might flip flop on that, but
you know.
I don't know. Well, nah. It's hard to say because I feel like both of those movies are excellent.
Yeah. It's definitely I feel like a lot of Oscar voters are going to be
Torn.
So
Yes.
which might pave the way for Barbie, which sad to say, it might.
Yeah, I mean, Barbie is addressing an important issue as well, but it's like,
Yeah.
it's not quite the same level.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we can end here. Next week we're getting into the Halloween spirit. I already posted this on the Instagram, so
Mm-hmm.
we're already doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Will be very odd change, tonal change switch. But we'll be doing Five Nights at Freddy's.
What? Oh, Whiplash. Oh,
yeah,
God.
it's gonna be big whiplash. But
We're going from Killers of the Flower Moon to Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yes. And then
Oh
you
my
also,
gosh.
it's your horror roundup. Are you gonna have some horror movies?
Oh, right,
for us?
that thing I said I was doing.
Yeah, you're gonna have some horror movies to watch for Halloween because it comes out literally on the 30th.
I might modify that a little bit,
Okay.
just because I know I'm not gonna have time to watch
Watch like
the 15 scary movies that came out.
watch
this
like
year.
3, and I'll watch 3, and then we can converge.
And we can try to make that happen. Also, maybe just kind of make it like an all-time type thing. Maybe.
Okay, fine. I guess.
I'm just saying time constraints, man.
Fair. No, I it's very fair. But yeah, check out next week.
You
when
know
we
what?
do-
What's not a time watching a 3.5 hour Scorsese? Make time for it.
Yeah, like we do.
Mark your calendar. Make
Um,
some moves.
But yeah, you can follow
It was better than The Irishman, for the record.
Damn. Drive by on the
I
Irishman.
think- well,
I like the Irishman.
The Irishman's good, but man, that movie's long.
It is long. I think it's shorter than Killers, honestly.
It doesn't feel like it. If I remember right.
Killers of the Flower Moon sits at 2:06 or 20 or 206 minutes. Irishman sits at 209 minutes. Never mind. It's 3 minutes longer. That 3 minutes
It's
really
only
hits
3
you.
minutes, I guess.
But
okay.
anyways, you can follow me on Letterboxd at _filmworker_.
Trevzilla on Letterboxd.
You can also follow.
You can read my Killers of the Flower Moon review there, which
You haven't posted yet, I think.
no, I did.
Did you? Oh,
Yeah.
it must have got lost in the system for me.
Kind of has the same thoughts I had here, more
Yeah.
or less.
But you can also follow this show on Spotify at The Fine Cut, as well as on YouTube on the YouTube channel After the Credits, as well as you can also follow the channel on Instagram at _AfterTheCredits_. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next week for Five Nights at Freddy's. Ready for that? Or.
I think we'll need the change of pace just after some heavy hitters.
Yeah. So
Not saying that Five Nights at Freddy's can't be like a
cinematic
complex,
masterpiece.
Tragic, deep film.
Okay,
but,
yeah, it's not gonna be like that, but, anyways.
Probably not.
Check it out next week when we do that, and we'll see you then.